Welcome to In the Nude. Today I want to talk about shame. I know, not a super fun topic, but also really helpful. Almost every person in the entire world has a tough relationship with shame, has had trauma because of shame, has inner shame themselves, self-shame, or other people's shame, or all of the above. Why do I want to talk about shame? Because shame is one of the single hardest battles in a healing journey, but also one of the most effective for getting things to change in your world. As a person who's a fellow shame-holic and shame struggler, it's not been a fun or easy journey for me. I have shame based on other people placing their shame on me. And I have self-induced shame by taking that shame that somebody placed on me and making it a truth in my life. Like, an example of this would be if you didn't get a lot of attention when you were a little kid, and then you took that lack of attention on for a lack of value. That your worth was somehow lesser because the person in your life that was supposed to love you didn't know how, or didn't have time, or didn't anything. They just didn't. That's a way that you can take somebody else's shame and then become the lie that you accept as truth. So I want to set the record straight, both in statements, but then also talk about how it might look. Your worth, it's not up for debate. Your worth isn't based on the actions you take. It isn't based on saying the right things or saying the wrong things. You can't add or subtract. It's not an equation. It is. Think of worth like an equal sign. There is nothing to adjust with it. It just is. That's worth. Confidence, that moves. That's it. That's a self-moving line. You have confidence that you can run a mile because you ran a mile. You have confidence you can learn something because you did learn something. Confidence and worth are very separate things. So we're going to talk about worth because worth is what shame attacks. Worth is innate. If you are breathing, if you are existing, you have worth. Somebody else's valuation of you is not the same as your worth. Somebody else's treatment of you is not indicative of your worth. It feels like it is. It feels like it is, but it's not. Let me give you an example. In this journey of trying to undo shame, in this journey of trying to accept the truth of worthiness, self-love plays a part, right? What does self-love look like? A lot of people have different definitions, but this is the best way I know how to describe self-love. If you have a child, your own child, or somebody else that you have accepted fully as somebody you love, or a younger sibling, or somebody in your life that you just innately, deeply love. If someone were to turn to you and say, why do you love your kid? Why do you love that kid? Why do you love your brother? Whatever that person is to you that you love the most in the world, that person, visualize it. Why do you love that person? You might start scrambling for reasons, but ultimately you're going to fall down to because I do, because they are. I don't have reasons for why I love my kids, and their behavior isn't something that adjusts in my loving them. How I treat them, things that have fallout or consequences, that all adjusts, but not my love. There are other people in my life that have done awful things, have hurt me, and have if someone asks me why, I can't give you a reason. There isn't something that they can do to lose my love. They can lose my proximity. They can lose my presence, but they cannot lose my love. And that attitude and feeling that you know towards that other person, whoever it is in your life, that is self-love. That is what it looks like. That is how it comes into your life. You show up and love yourself no matter what you have done, no matter how you are feeling, And yes, sometimes showing up for yourself doesn't look like doing things you want to do. Think about the way you've loved other people, okay? Self-love looks like, imagine you changed bodies with a person you love more than anybody else in the world, right? And you had their body for 1 year. And you know what their goals are. You know what they want to be. You know what they want to do. You know what they want to go after. You have 1 year in their body. What are you going to do? How are you going to show up? Now, that's how you show up for yourself, okay? So what does this play in a part of worth and shame? To start that journey of trying to actually take actions with that, you can do it tactily, but like there's a big difference between you when you understand something and then when you know it. Like when it goes from your head to down into your soul and your bones. It's when you learn how to ride a bike, you could understand, okay, I gotta pedal those wheels, I gotta hold the rails, I gotta try to like balance in the middle. You could conceptualize it well before your body could actually do it, right? It's true with anything you learn, right? This is the same way. Self-love, you can conceptualize, okay, that's how I do it, right? But there's a like disingenuous nature of it. There's this like discord, there's this like uncomfortable, like non-manifesting it into your soul and your body. A element to that process that can make it copacetic, that can make it even and just like flow, is accepting the reality of where you are with your battle with shame. Observing the truths you say to yourself, the things you think about yourself, just paying attention to where your mind goes, and then asking where did that thought come from? I didn't get enough done today. And then being mad at yourself. Why is my value dictated on my productivity? Why am I treating myself like I'm lesser because I didn't achieve my to-do list? Where did that come from? It is that journey of paying attention to those truths that we say to ourselves that aren't true. Those words, they come from seeds of lies. Oh, sure. We all want to get more done in a day. Like, maybe not all. Almost everybody wants to get more done in a day, even if that more is like read more books and relax more. There's still a more that they're wanting, right? So I'm not saying that you're ever going to be satiated with that like drive. That's not where this is. It's about often when we don't hit that marker of whatever it is we thought we should do that day, we then devalue. We start bullying ourselves. We start like shaming. We start trying to escape. We start when you see yourself trying to run to work, when you're trying to run to being perfect, when you start spastically cleaning your house, when you start binging on TikTok, when you start staying up late, even though your brain is saying, no, I'm tired, I need to go to bed. And your body is saying, yes, what the brain said, let's do that. But you just are mindlessly scrolling again. Those are things that are escaping. When we are trying to escape, there's something we're trying to escape. If we stop and we ask the question of why, without being mad at ourselves, just observing, we can often get at the truths. For me, I grasp at my value based on productivity. So I am a spastic cleaner. I am a workaholic. I am a perfectionist because I have had to show up for me. And if I don't show up for me, who will? And that is all me grasping for my own worth. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie I tell myself. It's a lie that I've swallowed to be truth, but it isn't true. My worth is innate. I don't have to achieve it. Sure, great. Take the strong worth ethic and self-discipline that I've learned as a result of like not being kind to myself. Take those and like we'll dust them off and make them pretty and apply them to a life based in worth. Because the foundation of understanding that we are worthy and working from there gains so much more productivity, so much more success when we found it there. Why do we have so much shame? Because people find that it works topically in the moment. If you turn to a kid and you shame them for having messed up, you know what they're going to do? They're not going to mess up in that moment. But that shame is like an acid. It seeps in, it starts eroding way more than you ever thought possible. But you know what also gets results? Love, value, honor. And it doesn't have the poison that comes with it. So when you're on this journey, on this healing, can we please start with the foundational understanding that you have worth and it is not negotiable. It is not an equation that you can subtract from or add to. It is. It is. If we start with that foundation and we debunk the motivations we have, why are you striving to get what you're trying to get? What does that mean to you? Why does it mean something for you? Often, almost everything that we are grinding for is based in us trying to achieve love, affection, acceptance, essentially our value. Now, does it mean that goal we're going towards is bad? No. But it does mean that our motivation for it is poisoned. And we can seep that poison out. And when we do, when we build off the foundation of worth, off of our own value that is innate, and we, instead of shaming ourselves and taking on those lies, we build in truth and we build with honor, we build with love, and we build with grace. Do you know how transformative that is? Not only will you get where you're wanting to go, you'll probably get someplace that you didn't even know you wanted, and it's better. The entire journey that is most of our life is a journey. It's not the destination, right? Like when you go on a hike, 99.9% of the time you're on the hike, it's on the path to where you're going and then back from where you're going. It's not the location. Our life is the same way. Instead of constantly shaming and begrudging ourselves on the entire path there and the entire path to the next place, what if we could enjoy it? What if we could honor ourselves in it? What if we gave ourselves grace and it made it easier? What if instead of trudging up this little giant hill, it became like floating on a river where the current takes us there? What if? In my path, in my journey of healing, the more that I face the ugly shame moments in my life, those truths that I don't want to accept anymore because they're not actually true, right? The things that I've foundationally built in my life. You must achieve to have value. You must get stuff done. No one will ever love you unless you're going to be on your own forever. No one will ever show up for you. These are things that I have swallowed, taken these vile pills and put them inside of me like they're true. I no longer want that. And the more I sit there and I find those poisons and I leach them out of my system, the more this entire journey, this escapade of what seems like arduous work, of undoing of all of the hurts. Because when we go through a hurt, our body decides, our brain decides, we all they decide to cope in a way. And often the way that they decide to cope is a way that makes us form and conform to what everybody else's perspective of what we should be doing is. It is not often what actually is beneficial to us. When we start listening to our gut, when we start listening to our body, when we start being intuitive, when we start existing instead of achieving, when we start seeing our worth and then assessing what actually matters to us in that, our attitude and our perspectives and our goals and how we go about making choices for our life often look counter to what everybody expects and thinks you should do. And it feels weird, it feels disjointed, and other people are going to look at you and be like, what are you doing? But that is the journey of learning how to really feel integrated in your life, achieved and authentic and thriving. It is fulfilling to listen to your body and be like, no, I know I said I was going to go to this thing later today, but I don't have the energy for it. I love you, but I'm just not going to go today. Oh, you're letting other people down. They'll feel blah, 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 blah. No. That is honoring to yourself. That is a fulfilling choice. That has nothing to do with how they might receive it. That is on them, not on you. But that journey of seeing the shame, the lies we've swallowed for truth, and identifying it and letting it sit in our brain well before we can swallow it into our soul and understand it and like re-pull those fake things out of us that we've swallowed as truth. But the more we do it, the more you are willing to sit with yourself and stew in what is. It's an uncomfortable work, but it is worth it. And it becomes so much more than I ever thought could have been possible. I started 3 years ago, and I had this thought process. I literally went into my first like big therapy session with like EMDR and all that, and I'm sitting there with my therapist, and I go, okay, listen, here's the deal. I'm pretty aware of my problems. I think it's going to take this long. These are the key factors. I think this one's going to be the one that's the most. And so this is what we're going to do. We're on a boat, we're in a storm, and I'm going to steer straight into that storm so we can get right on the other side of it. My therapist very kindly was like, oh, okay. And I had that mentality, like there was somehow, I'm just going to get to the other side, and then it's just going to be a flat lake. I don't know what my perspective was, but I just was so exhausted and I wanted to get to the other side. And there's something in the journey of existing with yourself that the passage in the storm no longer is this arduous, annoying, defeating, exhausting process, but instead an adventure. Instead, it's got its moments of ups and downs and all over the place, terror and excitement. But there's this level of just like fulfillment and adventure that exists in the process when we give ourselves grace. When we start with constantly reminding ourselves of the actual truth that our worthiness is not up for debate. When we start sitting with ourselves and asking difficult questions about why and what, and we find those tiny and sometimes gigantic lies that have found their way into us, that we have foundationally decided are truth, and pull them out. So today, I want you to sit and think about a goal that you have. I don't really care what it is. It doesn't matter. Just sit and like really think about a goal that you have, whether it's you want to get, abs, or you want to have this level of success in your business, or you want to have be this type of parent, or you want to, whatever the goal is, sit down in it. And then I want you to ask yourself, why? Well, I want to have abs because I want to be fit. Okay, why do you want to be fit? Well, I want to be fit because I want to feel better. Okay, well, you could feel better without abs, so what about being fit and having abs has to do, why that? Well, because I've always wanted abs. Okay, why have you always wanted abs? I've always wanted abs because I thought it looked attractive. Okay, why do you care about looking attractive in that level of capacity? Well, I want to be seen as attractive. Okay, why do you want to be seen as attractive? Because I want to have someone see that in me. Okay, what about somebody else seeing you being attractive and see that in you that makes a difference? Because I want to have affection and connection. Do you see what I mean? And it's going to take time. It's not going to just like happen that you go through this question of why. But when you do that, you can get down to the seed of maybe you want abs because you think you're going to have more worth. That someone's going to like you more. That you're going to like you more. Is having abs bad? No, go on with your bad self. But when you know that currently your motivation is a shame-based, a devaluation of yourself currently, that you somehow think you can add to your worth, well, that motivation is going to sink that ship. You're not going to get there. And if you do, it's just going to be a moving rabbit. Like, dog races, right? These dogs line up in these cages where they're ready to like take off. And they have this bunny that's like this ungettable bunny. And it's constantly in front of them. And they're just like, they're running after that bunny as hard as they friggin' can. But they're never going to get to the bunny. It's not achievable. It is a untangible goal that is untruthful, that's always going to be withheld. And when we view ourselves as unworthy, when we view ourselves as having to do something to gain worthiness, when we do things and we think about it like it's an equation, you have then created that your worth is that unachievable goal. It's constantly moving. You get those abs, guess what it's going to be? Something else. Maybe you have to have bigger butt, or you have to have like better calves, or you have to, I don't know, tanner skin. Your worth isn't up for debate. So when you take that out of the equation, one, it might mean that the wanting abs goes away, and maybe you just want to feel better in your skin. Maybe you want to have more energy, right? Or maybe it doesn't go away, you still want to have abs, but now it's coming from a place of you want to have that strength. You want to see the power of your capabilities and grow in your physical confidence in what you can do. And you're more likely to achieve that goal when it comes from a foundation of understanding it's not going to affect your worth. It also makes, when you have failures in it, it's not a self-loathing that affects it. I didn't go to the gym today. I ate this thing that I didn't want to eat. It's not a part of who I want to be. It isn't then something that attacks you and you're like, I'm not worthy. And you start beating you don't have to. When you know that your worth is detached from your actions, detached from your goal, you have more capability of not only getting to that goal, but enjoying the process. You can't add to your worth. You can add to your experience. You can add to your confidence. You can add to this world. You can help other people around you see their worth and love them where they are. Your actions make a difference, but not to your value. And so the thing I want you to do today is to think about that goal and ask yourself questions of why. If you need help with this, please reach out. I would love to help you along this journey, but just sit and let it take time. Let it stew. Let it come out what it is. And there isn't shame in it. Do you know the number of, every person in this world has some type of goal, now, present, future, whatever, that has some type of basis in a shame-based value thing. Because that is how, especially where I've been raised and what I've been around, is culturally present at all times. This isn't a shame upon you for having shame in your goals. It's a offering up of freedom to enjoy your process, to have the achievement not be something that's elusive, but something you can get there and something you can actually have on the way. When you go through the process of realizing your abs have something to do with gaining your worth, you know what you learn in that moment? That you're already there. What you're trying to achieve, you already have it right here. Your worthiness is not up for debate. You've just achieved that goal. So now, whatever goal you're going towards is something different. It's learning that you have that strength, you have that capability, that's whatever. It is a freeing to fully soar to your real truth, to your real impact.